This is the OTP. I'm Amie Wells, and the Tennessee Titans are getting ready to go back on the road. A little less snow, a little more sunshine, we hope. They're heading to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. Did I introduce you, Taylor Zarzour?
Not yet, but that's okay.
Well, I'm really excited to. We have a special guest today. It's Taylor Zarzour. We've got to recap a win. Mm-hmm. We've got to talk about the 49ers.
Yes.
We've got to talk about a great interview that you did with Peter Skoronski. We've got a lot happening on this program, so I guess my brain just flipped over the pleasantries and went straight to business.
Oh, no, I was fine with it. It's fine. I was just looking at the forecast because I was excited about the forecast. As you were saying, we don't have any snow in the forecast. I love a snow game, by the way, and it was a lot of fun. But the temperature is going to be 60 degrees in Santa Clara, California on Sunday, and I'm excited for that.
That feels balmy to me right now. It is chilly pups here in Nashville, so 60 is going to feel wonderful. Then you're all going to come back. It's going to be wicked cold this weekend and into the start of next week. Y'all are going to land. It's going to be 3 degrees here. Everybody's going to get a cold. So congratulations. Enjoy your trip.
Is it really going to be really cold?
It's going to be really cold here, like Sunday into Monday. And then I think by Wednesday it's supposed to go back up and be kind of nice. So there's your weather report here on the Official Titans podcast. It's been about 30 seconds, and you already know the weather in 2 states. Not bad.
Very good.
That's efficiency. We don't see the 49ers that often.
Nope.
So I, myself, have had to do a lot of like extra reading and prep to just familiarize myself with the 49ers. Has that been your experience this week as well?
Yeah. I certainly, as a guy that loves the National Football League, I'm familiar with them. They've been in the Super Bowl a couple of times in the last handful of years. Kyle Shanahan and their offense is prolific. They have I feel like there's a couple of times, Amie, where they've had the best team in football and they just have not won the Super Bowl. I think that a big issue the 49ers have had in recent years are injuries, and they're going through it again this year, especially on the defensive side of the football. As you know, I lived in Charlotte for a long time. He didn't stay there as long as maybe some other great players that have come through Charlotte have, but Christian McCaffrey was unbelievable in the 4 or 5 years that he was with the Carolina Panthers. So I've always kind of paid more attention to him than maybe some other players in the league. But you're right. We don't get to see them very often. This is only the second time the Titans have ever been to this facility.
Yeah.
You know, they used to play, wait for it, in San Francisco.
Whoa, what an idea.
Now they play over an hour away in Santa Clara, where the Super Bowl is going to be at Levi Stadium. But the Titans have only been to that facility one time. You were there, I'm sure.
I was there.
2017.
Yeah, we stayed out on the West Coast. So we played Arizona, and then we played the 49ers, and we stayed in Phoenix for the week in between the 2 games. It didn't lose any of them, and after a lot, it's never fun to lose a game. And when you come home on a plane after a game, it's just really quiet and kind of meh, and it's not fun. Being in a hotel room after you lose a game for a week and being stuck with everybody is just not a great happy time. It was kind of frustrating, but it was great to be out in Phoenix in like later in the season because it was beautiful and we did a lot of hiking and I saw a coyote for the first time and that was really exciting and a little bit scary because I was by myself and didn't know what to do. But yeah, but that's the last time we were out there and I can't believe that as much time has passed as it has, but we don't really hit that NFC kind of realm very often.
I know. And one thing that I love that the NFL has done in post-COVID is this 17th game, and it's against a team from the other conference. You know, so your chances of minimizing what we've just gone through with the 49ers, they were here 4 years ago. We were there 8 years ago, but that's gonna start being like, oh, well, actually, we were there 2 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to have more of that because of that extra game that's been added. And so I do like that. But you're right. These are infrequent trips to the Bay Area where Mike McCoy is from.
Well, there you go. Maybe he'll get to see some people he knows.
I'm sure he will.
I love a homecoming trip. Now, I want to get into the 49ers a lot more. But before we do that, we need to put a little bow on the Titans win over the Cleveland Browns.
Let's do
because when we win a game, we're going to celebrate it here on the OTP. And I have been doing a lot of reading and just looking through things, and I've compiled a list of potentially stats, as I called them, that contributed to the win in Cleveland. Because there are a lot of things that the Titans did. For example, the Titans scored 31 points, which is the most points that they have scored all season. And it's the first game in 2025 with more than 25 points scored. Scoring more points means you have a better chance of winning a football game. So, like, that's kind of the list that I have here. And so people listening, OT people, may think that this is a stupid exercise because I'm going to explain the most basic principles of football to you. But I thought it was interesting the amount of things that happened in one game that led to success. So just kind of walk with me here. So Cam Ward was only sacked one time. That was the first time all season that he was only sacked once.
That'll help.
If your quarterback is standing up and able to make more plays and the offensive line is protecting him well, he is going to have more success typically. But very helpful. I mentioned the points thing. That is a good one. First game with multiple passing touchdowns. Also interesting because, if there's more ways that you are able to run the offense and you're able to have some versatility and score in multiple ways, you are going to be more effective.
Just real quickly, the fact that first touchdown came on the first drive, Amie, is the fourth straight game that the Titans have scored on that drive, but it's the first time they scored a touchdown instead of a field goal. That gets you off to a great start. But and by the way, you have a rookie quarterback throwing to two different rookie receivers, too, for those two touchdowns. Cam's first first game with multiple touchdowns.
Which, if you're scoring more touchdowns, you might win the football game. There you go.
That's the way it works.
See, isn't this a fun game? You just have to get into it a little bit.
I'm enjoying it, yes.
So Cam's final stat line, just for everybody so that we can remember, he was completed 14 of 28 passes, 117 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 1 interception, and he was sacked 1 time. So that is productive. That is not the best stat line that we have seen from him all season, but when your team is playing well and you are able to do multiple different things, typically you're going to have some success.
Yeah, and I thought that his ability, especially early in the game, to extend drives on third down. But you're right. The biggest thing that he did, that the offense did in this game, was protect him. And one of the big issues the Titans have had this year, Amie, is they've been, as Coach McCoy has said in this very studio, had way too many third and longs. They weren't in a lot of those situations this past week because of what you have already referenced with the lack of sacks. So that was a big duh.
But a good duh.
Yes.
This is all good stuff. Okay, we had the first we had the first blocked punt since 2012 by James Williams Sr. This has gotten a lot of publicity, especially the Tim Shaw of it all, and what a great moment that created. A couple great moments, actually, where they celebrated him in the locker room. They gave him the game ball. Awesome to be able to do that for him. But also, if you're able to block a punt and make big plays on special teams, that is what we like to call complementary football.
The fact that Tim Shaw comes to every practice and is out there, and a lot of people are familiar with his story and what Tim has been through, but that makes it even more powerful. And the fact that Tim had such a big smile on his face that it happened to was just outstanding. So, yeah, that was a really special moment for Titans fans. It was a special moment for Tim because it brought some more attention to what he did 13 years ago, too. So, James Williams Sr., I still can't believe that the punter tried to punt it because there was a chance James was just going to take the ball away from him or tackle him. I mean, he was all over that play. That was great.
Yep. Yeah, and you're right. Tim is at every practice, regardless of weather. Like, he's a real one. He'll go out in anything, and I won't do that. I'll just text him through the windows and be like, "Looks like it's chilly out there, buddy. Good luck."
Yeah. And Coach McCoy immediately Coach McGinnis, Coach Mack immediately goes and talks to him
every single time. 100% of the time.
Yep.
Oh, good old Tim Shaw. All right, another stat that I think also contributed. Tony Pollard had a great game. He had 161 rushing yards versus the Cleveland Browns. He had 25 carries and 2 rushing touchdowns. When you are able to have a solid run game performance, you are going to have some success on offense, and that is what we saw.
Man, that was just awesome to watch him have those 2 long runs, explosive runs, 65 yards, the longest run of his career, also adding a 32-yarder later in the game. But to see how effective he was running the football, we have been hearing everyone in this building talk about how important it is to establish the run. So it was great to see, and the sky's the limit for the Titans when they're able to do that. But there were a lot of fired-up people in the locker room because of how effective Tony in the ground game was against Cleveland. And what I thought was really cool, Amie, was they ran right at Myles Garrett.
Yep.
You know, honestly, I think he's the best player in the National Football League in 2025. Just individually, I think he right now should be the MVP of the league. And I thought it was a brilliant game plan to keep running at him. You know, don't run away from him because chances are he's going to come over there and get you, but run just right at him. I thought the Titans did a great job of that.
The last thing that stands out to me on my stats that contributed to a win was Jeffery Simmons had 1.5 sacks and 3 quarterback hits. He now has the second most sacks in a season in his career. 8.5 is his career best. He is currently sitting at 8, so he is just half a sack away from hitting that mark, and we still have some football left to play. So I have a feeling that Jeffery Simmons is going to set a new career best this season. We hope. But when Jeffery Simmons is playing well and he is getting pressure on the quarterback, the other quarterback is not going to be able to make the plays he wants to make.
My man, Jared Puffer, who works in our communications team, Puff is such a popular guy in these parts. He gives me these stats on Monday. I'm sure he brings them by your office too. Jeffery Simmons, 11 pressures in that game, a career high, but you just said it, pressure. On a play-by-play basis. And I think T'Vondre Sweat, if you're a great nose guard in the league, Amie, all these stats you're going to give aren't typically going to include a nose guard. The nose guard position just doesn't get a lot of stats.
No.
It's kind of like a guard or a center in the NFL. If you're in the middle of the field, you're just not going to get as many stats. But I'm telling you, a big reason for Jeffery Simmons having all that is because T'Vondre Sweat and Simmons lining up next to each other, man alive, what a duo they are.
It's phenomenal. It's just a thing of beauty to watch when it works. And again, when the Titans defense and the defensive line is playing at a high level, I hate to say again, but you're going to have some success because say what you want, defense wins championships, friends. All right. Do you have any other stats that stick out to you? I know I compiled a pretty basic list, but
I think that Myles Garrett's lack of stats would be a that would be one more. Just you see each and every game the impact that he has. His stats are usually similar to what you just read off about Jeffery Simmons. They weren't.
Not even close.
In this game. And that really speaks to how great the offensive line played in this game. It was a beautiful thing.
It really was. Speaking of beautiful things, Christy Cookie is a beautiful thing, and I think it's time for a cookie break, although
somebody ate
my staff ate all my cookies.
What?
There's no cookies in there. I don't know where they went. The people here at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park, my fellow teammates. I mean, the audacity of it, they ate all the cookies. They are gone. So I will show you this tin and say you too could have one, and also say maybe someone send me some cookies for Christmas because I'm fresh out. ChristyCookie.com is the place that you can do that, and you can get all kinds of different things, but nothing says Merry Christmas like some Christy cookies. Happy holidays. Christy cookies for your boss. Maybe you want a promotion. Maybe you have a coworker that you want to say, thanks for putting up with me all season long. And so you send them some Christmas cookies.
Somebody, by the way, the OT people, somebody at the Nissan Stadium came up to me and asked me, are those Christy cookies really that good? And
they are so legit.
Oh, my gosh. That was a big reason why I came here today.
Titans fans, SeatGeek is the official primary ticketing partner of Tighten Up and here to help you experience all the action this season. SeatGeek makes it easy to find the perfect seats to the perfect game so you can be part of all the touchdown celebrations and momentum-shifting takeaways this season. Whether you're getting tickets to Titans games or to any live event in Nashville, SeatGeek is the place to do it. SeatGeek is the official primary ticketing partner of the Tennessee Titans.
Home is at the forefront of all we do. It's why we're so committed to caring for the places and spaces in which we work and live. Ashley, the official furniture provider of the Tennessee Titans. Genesis is the first and only official jeweler of the Titans, having earned that title since 2006. Titans players, coaches, and fans trust Genesis for the absolute best in selection, quality, customer service, and of course, value. For diamonds, engagement rings, designer fashion jewelry, and the largest selection of luxury pre-owned Rolexes in Tennessee, Genesis is the hands-down winner. Genesis Diamonds in Green Hills and Cool Springs, the official jeweler of the Tennessee Titans.
Moving on to San Francisco. The 49ers, you mentioned it earlier in the show, the 49ers have been ravaged by injuries. It's just been one thing after another for them. TZ, how do you see that impacting this game now that they have had the opportunity to have a very late season bye? They are coming off of that Week 13 rest. They will have hopefully a couple people who are healthy, but I mean, still, they've been switching personnel all season long.
Yeah, and I think it's had an impact on them. I mean, I got to tell you, they've done an excellent job to be at this mark, to be at 9-4 in the season. It's kind of wild, Amie. 9-4 is the worst record for a playoff team in the NFC.
Wow.
If you're 8-5, you're not in the playoffs right now. 9-4 is at the end of the rope for the wild card picture in the NFC. They're in third place in their division at 9-4. We have played the 10-3 Seahawks and the 10-3 Rams, and then there's the 49ers at 9-4. They've done a great job to be 9-4 with those injuries that have really hit them on defense. You look at them statistically, they give up a ton of yards in the pass game. They sort of hold up in the rush game compared to, say, some of the best defenses in the National Football League. Offensively, they have struggled to score. They have struggled to really throw the football downfield this year. But the one thing, this to me is the critical element to the game, Amie, on Sunday. You have got to get whoever Brock Purdy throws the football to on third down, you've got to force an incompletion, or you've got to get that player on the ground so that they don't convert it. They are really good on third down, second in the league, 48% on third down. And to me, the thing that I can hear Coach Mack saying when we get in the booth on a 3rd and 6 for the 49ers, at their own 38-yard line, watch out for McCaffrey, watch out for 23, watch out McCaffrey out of the backfield here. I can hear Coach Mack saying it. And I think that that's going to be a critical part of the game. Cedric Gray is one of the best tacklers in the National Football League. It'll be so important that our number 33 tackles their number 23 on those critical third downs.
Tell me a little bit about Christian McCaffrey. As you mentioned earlier, you've been watching him a lot. He didn't have a spectacular game against the Browns 2 weeks ago. Should we be concerned that there's like a redemption game on the horizon?
Well, on top of the fact that he's had that week off, and I think that him being rested and healthy is the critical part to his success. But this is the craziest thing. So this guy, you could argue, is the best pass-catching running back that's ever played in the NFL. Marshall Faulk would be on that list, Roger Craig. There are a number of others. But here's the craziest thing. You could say that Christian McCaffrey this year is having the best year of his career.
Yeah.
He is 151 yards away, Amie, from 1,000 yards rushing. He's 194 yards away from 1,000 yards receiving.
Crazy.
He has a real chance. I mean, you would predict he's going to do it if he's healthy for these last 4 games, that he's going to have over 1,000 yards rushing and receiving. That's incredible. But he is. I mean, despite all of those injuries that the 49ers have had, not just on defense, but also, I mean, in the backfield, Juszczyk, the great fullback that they have, Brandon Ayuk, we thought that he'd be a big difference maker. It's really George Kittle missed a bunch of time this year. Their great tight end. McCaffrey has been – Purdy missed some time. Mac Jones started a bunch of games. They've had McCaffrey, though, and he is, I think, the most important player to their team, and he'll be out there on Sunday going against the Titans.
Brock Purdy had that turf toe injury early,
which is
but
awful.
He has, since he's been back, he hasn't really seemed super limited in the way that he's been playing. He hasn't had the best last, say, year and a half that you expected him to have, but he is still serviceable and overcoming that injury and maybe starting to get a little bit more mobile now that he will be on the other side of that bye as well, right?
Yeah, I think you're right. That's a good point, is you could see him playing even better football in these last 4 games. And that combination that he has with George Kittle, it's kind of like Mahomes and Kelsey and what the Titans will see the following week with the Kansas City Chiefs. And then a name that many people that are OT people are familiar with is Juwan Jennings, one of the great volunteers that has become more of a stretch the field vertically a threat for the 49ers as well. So got to watch out for all those guys this week.
Tell me about their defense. What sticks out to you about the 49ers defense?
That they've been hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I would say that there's 2 things that stick out to me. They've had a lot of injuries, and yet they still have found a way to get off of the football field. They still have found a way to force turnovers. Robert Saleh, their defensive coordinator, is really regarded as one of the best defensive minds in the National Football League, and you can tell he just has this great connection with all of the people that are on the field, whether it's somebody that is a first-time starter that what you thought was going to be a backup, or it's somebody that you're expecting to be a big-time contributor all year. Their level of play has not fallen off that much with, honestly, a ton of guys that are on the second string to start the year. So I would just say they're really well coached. I mean, from my lens, I see Saleh as one of the best defensive minds in the game, and he's going to – I mean, it's going to be a big test, no question. But by the way, I would say that Jim Schwartz, former Titan defensive coordinator, who I think is one of the best defensive minds in the game, I was very concerned about the Titans going up against him, and the Titans gashed the Browns last week. It doesn't mean that the Titans can't do that. And, Amie, if you were to ask me who is the toughest opponent the Titans have had on their schedule all year, given where the game was and who the game was against, at this point I'd probably say week 1 at the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
The Titans were in that game for the entirety of it, all 60 minutes, which leads me to think they can compete with anyone, and they can compete at the Santa Clara 49ers.
Oh, that's so confusing to me.
Hey, football fans, satisfy your halftime hunger with Snickers, and you could win sweet prizes this NFL season. Visit Snickers.com/halftime to enter and view the official rules. Pick up Snickers at a Kroger near you. When you bring Hellman's Creamy Buffalo Chicken Dip to the watch party, you can cheer too loud, or block the TV, or be a couch coach, and no one will eject you from the game. That's a Hail Mayo. Hellman's, the official mayo of the Tennessee Titans. Hey Titans fans, with a Kroger Boost membership, you'll score big with double fuel points, free delivery, and lots more. Go to Kroger.com/boost for details. Kroger, the official grocer of the Tennessee Titans. Tighten up. Now back to the OTP.
It is time for the real deal matchup of the game, and I'm filling in today for Keith Bullock. Keith Bullock was out of town, so I'm going to do it. And here's the deal. The matchup that I am watching is the Titans running backs core against the San Francisco 49ers defense. And I will tell you why. The Titans running backs group as a whole, led, of course, by Tony Pollard and what he's coming off of in Cleveland, but Tajay Spears, Julius Chestnut, there's all kinds of guys who can contribute, but they need to have more of a presence in this game than what we saw in the first half of the season. We need to establish the run game early and often, and we need to keep this offense on the field. When the San Francisco 49ers offense is able to convert the way that they are and stay on the field for as long as they can, the only way to combat that is to keep your own offense on the field. Another duh. I know, but it's real. You got to stay on the field, and a lot of that is having success in the run game. Being able to dominate the game on the ground, first and foremost, is very important. So that is the matchup that I will be watching in this game. Titans fans, get 15% off your Little Caesars order of $15 or more at participating stores using code TITANS15 at checkout. That, of course, excludes taxes and other fees. Pizza. All right, TZ. Part of getting the running game going is having a really solid performance by the offensive line. And you had the opportunity to talk with our friend Peter Skoronski. What did you guys talk about?
Well, we went through it, a bunch of different things. We just talked about what you said, coming off a really good performance against the Cleveland Browns, coming off of your best running performance of the season, and how they blocked them up against the Cleveland Browns. But we also really got to know Peter. First and foremost, we need to know how is he introducing himself.
Yeah.
But we talked about his background, the legacy player that he is. His grandfather was such an incredible player in the National Football League as well. And then, of course, we had to talk about food. I have to do that with everybody, so we got to that as well.
All right, well, here's Taylor Zarzour literally introducing himself to Peter Skoronski.
All right, here we are with Peter Skoronski of the Tennessee Titans. First of all, did I say that correctly? If you were to introduce yourself to me, would you go by Pete or Peter or something else?
Either works. I'm not preferential to either one.
All right, well, let's try this. I'm Taylor Zarzour.
Peter.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, there's our answer.
But you can say either. I wouldn't be upset if you said Pete or I don't care.
And I did write down that some people call you Custard.
Some people, yeah, mainly my brother and sister.
And how do we feel about that?
It's fine. It's a childhood nickname, but
Okay.
yeah.
All right, you just live with it because it's your brother and sister that are doing it. Got it. Third year in the league, man. Off to a great start, at least from our lens. Everybody else that watches you feels like you're one of the best guards in the National Football League. Let me ask you this question. How would Peter Skoronski evaluate his own level of play?
I think that's something I'm always thinking about in terms of level of play. But, I feel like I've built more consistency this year and feel like there's less of the highs and lows and more just like real consistent play. But still lots to work on, lots to get better at. You want to be a part of an offense that is maybe a little more productive than we've been this year. So that's obviously disappointing. And, everyone plays a role in that, including me. So, definitely stuff to work on, but, I feel like I've made strides, from every year that I've been in the league and happy with that.
However, your offense is coming off of a game where you consistently ran the football, best rushing output of the season. Tony Pollard had the best running day of his career, and you limited one of the best players in the NFL. How did you guys do that?
I think it's just start with the run game and committing to that and going out there and wanting to run the ball as much as we could and feel like, our line as a run blocking unit is a strength for our team. So just relying on that and just continually going at them and attacking them in different ways in the run game. And when you stay in that mode, you don't let the guys like Myles Garrett kind of tee off on you and get in pass rush mode and go sack the quarterback, which he's done a bunch of times this year. So it really just started with that and being efficient there, and then Tony taking a little bit and just going a mile with it and making those explosive plays that he did.
In fact, Pro Football Focus came out and said it was Garrett's most ineffective day of the year so far. What do you think you guys did a good job with up front to make that happen?
Well, we definitely gave him a lot of attention. There's no doubt about that. A player like that you definitely have to game plan for a little bit. So no doubt that his ability caused us to just start playing a little bit, but we did. And whether that be chipping him or having two guys on him whenever we could, or just staying out of those modes where he could sack the quarterback, I think a combination of all those things.
And it sounds like you were inspired because you told people you didn't want to be on NFL films.
Correct.
Can you explain what that means?
Well, obviously he's close to the sack record.
Yes.
I can picture, Michael Strahan sacking Brett Favre. I think we've all seen that clip,
Yes.
and there's kind of Favre, gave it to him, whatever. And I thought to myself, I think Saturday before the game, I was like, I'm not going to be that lineman who's in that clip for the next 20, 40 years of, this is when Myles Garrett broke the record, and there's 77 on the Titans. So I was just I said this to Dan, and I said it to a few other guys, so we cannot let that happen. It cannot be us. So thank God it's not us, but that definitely, sometimes fear is a little bit of a good motivator. So I think it all worked out.
Peter, what do you think can carry over from that performance?
Yeah, I think you feel real confident after running the ball like you did against a defense like that. Offensive linemen, we love to be in that mode, that run the ball, move the ball in that way. So I think that just gives us a lot of confidence that we did something, doing what we do best, and staying in an offensive line friendly kind of mode. And so I think that just builds up just a lot of confidence and good feelings going forward, and feeling like we can do that to a lot of teams. We did it against, a really good defense.
What did Peter Skoronski want to be when he grew up?
Oh, man. There's a lot of different ones. I had a lot of different careers I wanted to have. Lifeguard, crossing guard. I really wanted to be like a valet guy. I don't know why that was my desired career for a while. I had a lot of desired careers. Football player was definitely one of them for at least a time period in my childhood.
It sounds like you've always wanted to help people, and you're doing that. I mean,
I don't know. I think
you're
it was
sort of
more
always
just,
wanted to be a protector. And the word guard is in there a couple of times.
That's true. I didn't even think about that. It was more just like me fixating on something totally random. So I definitely had a lot of careers. There's probably, if you ask my mom or dad or my siblings, they probably mentioned like 20 more things. But I had a lot of different desired careers.
Because I think it's obvious from the outside, Peter Skoronski, grandson of the great Bob Skoronski, who was a 5-time champion with the Green Bay Packers, offensive lineman like you, that you would have wanted to follow in your grandfather's footsteps. So when did that become a realistic goal?
I mean, it was always a goal. I don't know about realistic for, most of my childhood. I'm not sure anyone really knows if that's realistic for a while. But, I always wanted to follow in those footsteps since I was a little kid, and since I could basically comprehend what my grandpa had done in his career. So from then on, I definitely had that desire to follow in his footsteps, and then it just kind of kept growing from high school football, then getting recruited in college, and then getting to college, and then starting playing well in college and say, hey, I might have a shot at the NFL. And then it kind of just became a reality through that. But was definitely a dream from day one, and it's just been a blessing to be able to have that come to fruition.
And obviously, as a high school player in Park Ridge, Illinois, you became an incredible offensive lineman. A bunch of different schools wanted you to come play for them. I know now you're a professional in Nashville, Tennessee. How close were you to being a college player in Nashville, Tennessee?
Not very close at all.
Okay, because
No.
I saw that Vanderbilt was on the list.
Yeah, I did come to visit Vandy, and they did not offer me. So, yeah.
How about that?
Okay, they'd offered me later, but not when I visited. So after that, I kind of was not interested. But.
Was it Northwestern or bust? Was it a hard decision?
It was Northwestern was definitely the early, the favorite out the gate, and obviously I ended up going there. But, a lot of schools that I was interested in, Notre Dame, Stanford, Wisconsin. So, it was not an easy decision, but Northwestern was definitely always the favorite, and glad I went there.
Okay, now there are a lot of big transitions a football player can make if they go from offense to defense or vice versa. If they go from, say, wide receiver to running back or vice versa. What's the transition like, Peter, going from being a tackle to a guard from college to the pros?
Well, I haven't gotten that question in about 2 years since my rookie year. But, it was difficult at first. I just felt like, there's already a transition from college to NFL in terms of speed of the game, ability of players, and that's difficult enough to handle. But then there's that moving inside and the different pace of the game on the inside and the different techniques that it require. And I felt like the way I played tackle a little bit in college was just not technically was not very conducive to moving to guard at the time in terms of my technique and where it was at. So I had to learn a lot technique wise, and felt like, the past 2 years were good for development in terms of learning that speed, learning the technique that it takes to play on the inside. And I feel like I've grown a lot, took a lot, definitely an adjustment, definitely some bumps in the road, but yeah.
And look, the outside world doesn't know what anyone else does for a living, really. But they would think, just move over, right? It's not as simple as that. It's a big transition.
No doubt. The personnel is way different. What you're seeing from a schematic, what the defense shows you, and what that is way different. Schematic, just playbook-wise is different too. So communication-wise, you got to deal with the center and the tackle. So it's a lot of times with tackle, it's really hard, but it's just block the end, and that's a hard job. But guard, it gets a little bit more challenging schematically. So I think that's definitely a difference. So there's tons of differences going just from 2 feet to 3 feet inside. It's a lot.
I know we've spent a lot of time so far talking about you individually, but being around you the last few months, you want to win. You want the Tennessee Titans to win. How much time do you spend thinking about turning this team into a winner compared to how much time you spend thinking about your own technique?
Man, I hate that's a great question, because I definitely think a lot about better days ahead, and hopefully turning this around and being more successful. I think we all kind of dream about that a little bit, and what it takes. But I also feel like there's only so much one guy can do, and the best thing I can do is focus on being the best player I can be. And that's thinking about my own technique, my job. And so I try to start there, and just try to be the best guy I can be, best player I can be for the team, and do my part, and let everything, the pieces fall where they may.
I think that's the best way to do it. All right, we've got some fun questions to wrap up with here. Best moment in football?
Best moment, or just for me, or for me? Okay. My senior year of high school, the only touchdown in my career, I recovered a fumble and ran it for a touchdown. That's my best football moment.
How about that? I mean, we had something similar to that in Arizona earlier this season with a recovery for a touchdown. Maybe you'll get one of those one day.
Yes. I'd rather just our guys just score it. Let's just keep it simple. Yeah.
Yeah. But you had one like that in high school.
Yes. I was a defensive player.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so
no,
fumble recovery.
I was on defense. Yeah.
I see. All right. Gotcha. All right.
No,
fumble recovery touchdown. Got it. All right.
Yes.
Very good. All right. So
we don't want that. We don't want a defensive recovery. I mean, unless it's our guys, but
of course. Best meal of your life?
Oh, man. I don't know. I'm passing on that one because I've had a lot of good meals. For sure.
Here's one that maybe you can get more specific on. Best offensive line meal in Nashville on a Thursday night?
Oh, great question. I'm a big fan of Harper's when we go there. Ooh. It's a great spot.
Yeah.
We have a lot of really good ones.
We are on a Thursday as we're talking right now. Do you know where you're going tonight? We're actually going
to the Preds game tonight.
Oh, good. Okay.
So that's our meal.
Eat at that Bridgestone.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, excited for it, but that's probably not the best culinary experience. But I'd say Harper's is probably my favorite O-line dinner spot.
Peter Skoronski, were you more of an avid Green Bay Packers fan as a kid, Northwestern fan now, or Tottenham Football Club fan?
Oh, I'm a fan of the last two now, but it's definitely the most avid Green Bay Packers fan growing up.
As a kid, that's when you got like as crazy as you could get about sports.
No doubt.
Okay.
No doubt. And I love Northwestern. I follow Tottenham, not as diehard as I did the other two, but yeah.
Finally, and you can finish this sentence for us, the Titans are turning this around because?
I think we've got some really exciting pieces. I think you've seen what Cam can show. He has shown he can do. You've seen the young guys on offense, Chim, Ellick, and guys who can really be great players in this league and go from there. I think those are some of those bedrock pieces that you need to be great. And then you still have some really great players on this roster, Rid and Jeff and Amie, and guys who are doing a really good job. So I think you have some foundational pieces, young pieces, old guys who can really be a part of a turnaround.
You're off to a great start individually, that's for sure. And you're a legacy player in the National Football League. You have to be awfully proud of that. I know your grandfather, Bob, sure would be.
Certainly.
Congratulations on all your success so far. Thanks, Peter.
Thank you.
TZ, that was a very interesting interview. You guys covered like a wide breadth of information. I learned many new things.
Well, and I want to peel the curtain back. You didn't go far. You gave Peter your seat, which is very kind of you, and you just went and sat over in the seat over there.
Yeah, I kind of like being a little mouse when other people are doing interviews because I want to learn. Like I want to.
Yeah.
I want to hear. And
so what did you learn?
I like watching people work. I learned many, many things. I think my favorite thing that I learned is that he was interested in so many bizarre careers as a child. I think that's so funny. Because it is true, though. Like, every kid, it's like, what do you want to be? And they're like, that guy over there's parking cars. I want to do that. I want to do that when I grow up.
He wanted to be a valet.
Yeah,
And I should have pressed him on, were you ever a lifeguard? Were you ever a valet? But that was kind of cool.
I wanted to be a mailman for a really long time because I thought it would be so fun to put letters in different slots. Like, I really... I get the fixation thing. Like, I understand it. So I feel a little closer to him now. Anyway, that's enough about me. The Titans are getting ready to take on the San Francisco 49ers this Sunday. Kickoff is 3:25 Central Time. That is different, friends. We have all been used to noon games, and it will be noon in California. Here, it's 3:25 kickoff. Actually, it'll be 1 o'clock in California. Whatever,
but the
you know what I mean.
pregame show is going to start at 12:30 local.
That's the thing, which is 2:30
Central here in Nashville.
Titans Countdown's on the air, 2:30 Central Time, so don't miss it. I will be there in spirit. TZ will be there. Mac, Rhett, Joseph, Will, the whole gang. We're taking them all. Kevin
will be there.
Kevin will be there. Kevin wouldn't miss this one.
No,
wouldn't miss it for the world. Well, for Taylor Zarzour, I'm Amie Wells, thanking you for listening to the